2 years ago, I was serving as a Peace Corps volunteer in Costa Rica. Remember, I was traveling on the back of a bus, and a woman got on the bus and started asking all the local passengers for donations to pay for her son's medical treatment. Now, I was initially skeptical. I think anyone that travels a lot, you start to build up a little bit of a wall in front of you. But it seemed like after only a few moments that the majority of the passengers on the bus started to give this woman donations for her son's medical care. I couldn't understand why they trusted her. And it was because she was passing around her son's medical record. And I remember when the woman got off the bus, I had an epiphany and thought, we can crowdfund creative projects on Kickstarter. We can crowdfund microloans on Kiva.org. Why on earth is there not a website we can crowdfund medical care for people in need?
And so Watsi was born, named after the town where that story played out. A year after launch, its founder tells me the crowdfunding non-profit has provided one-off medical treatment for 550 patients.
You'd visit our website. On our website, we'll have anywhere from 6 to 12 patients that are in need of medical care and currently fundraising. You can view the photos, read the stories of each one, decide which one you want to donate to. It can be one, it can be all 9 or 12. And then you can donate as little as $5 or as much as the entire cost of medical care for that patient. And then once we receive the funds and the patient receives care, you get a personal update about the outcome of the specific treatment that you funded.
With a 99% success rate, Watsi has just received $1.2 million from high-profile Silicon Valley donors to fund its own long-term prosperity, a fact which crowdfunding experts say is notable in itself.
There are, over 700 crowdfunding websites now globally, and certainly it is very significant that Y Combinator and the other backers that they already have are behind this idea.
Right now we're partnering with 16 organizations in 16 different countries around the world. Those doctors identify patients that meet our very high-level criteria, which essentially boils down to a condition that can be treated for less than $1,500 and has at least a 75% chance of significantly improving that patient's standard of living. The doctors on the ground identify patients that meet that criteria, send their profiles to us, post it on our website, donors fund the patient's medical care, and then the doctor provides care to that patient.
Crowdfunding is a bit of a buzzword here in Northern California, but until now it's been used largely by businesses and individuals to fund their own specific projects. Moving it into healthcare philanthropy does raise some potentially awkward ethical issues. For example, isn't there a danger that the website simply becomes a showcase for the medically in need?
Anecdotally, it seems that a lot of people are worried that the cute young kid is going to get all the donations. So there might actually be, a proclivity towards funding medical care for the elderly or people that perhaps aren't as photogenic. My hunch would be that it washes out. Again, it never impacts whether or not someone receives medical care because we guarantee funding. If we had to leave a profile posted for 2 years, we'd leave it posted for 2 years.
But by which point their condition may have substantially worsened.
Yeah, so the way Watsi works is that when we receive a patient profile from a doctor, we guarantee funding for that patient, and we tell the doctor, you can provide medical care to this patient whenever is medically appropriate.
Watsi can undoubtedly boast some small-scale success stories, but it's questionable whether it's likely to create more than a ripple in the ocean of international aid. And some health economics experts worry that despite Watsi's noble aims, it risks potentially doing more harm than good.
If you're relying on crowdsourcing and showcasing particular instances of people who have heart-tugging stories, then you may be funding people who seriously need help, and you may be saving their life. But with that saved money, could you have saved many more individuals by investing in even more cost-effective global health efforts, for example, on prevention?
Ultimately, though, Watsi's founder says that's missing the point.
What we're doing at Watsi, it's not just about tugging at the heartstrings, rather it's about establishing dignified, positive connections between human beings. Connecting you with, say, a 12-year-old girl in Nepal. The two paths would have never crossed, and now you know each other, and you've engaged in a connection that's not only positive, but extremely impactful.